Hello, my fellow citizen patriots. How many of you believe that the New York 9th congressional victory is a referendum on a failed Obama presidency, a failed Obama economic policy, and a failed socialist agenda? The 2012 elections are fast approaching. Are you ready to take back your White House?
Yes.
Are you ready to take back your Congress?
Yes.
Are you ready to take back our country?
Absolutely.
Yes.
A little louder than that?
Yes.
Thank you. Last year, when I ran for Congress against Ed Markey, the unemployment was at 9%. I called for the decrease in taxes and the decrease in regulations on small to medium-sized businesses to get Americans working again, while Ed Markey raised and voted for all of the tax increases, authored one of the most destructive pieces of legislation this nation has ever seen, called cap and trade. His committee allowed Fannie and Freddie to skate by the scrutiny of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, we have a real unemployment rate of over 16%. We have over 25 million Americans who are unemployed, underemployed, or who have just given up looking for work. Is that acceptable to you?
No.
I propose we start by reforming our tax code,
Yes.
starting with permanent cuts to corporate taxes, payroll taxes, and capital gains taxes to get Americans working again. Last year, I called for the lifting of the moratorium on oil exploration. Gasoline was at $2.60 a gallon. Now, gasoline and heating oil have been over $4 a gallon, placing an unnecessary burden on families, businesses, and a struggling economy. Do you know how much the Saudi Arabians pay for a gallon of gasoline?
Nickel.
About 60 cents a gallon. Why? Because they don't have Ed Markey writing 2 laws that prevent the Saudi Arabian people from developing all of their natural resources. Is this acceptable to you?
No.
I propose we responsibly develop all of our oil and gas reserves, and that we initiate and take advantage of small nuclear technologies, geothermal and hydroelectric technologies, because they're cost effective and they're reliable enough for everyday use. Last year, I called for the defunding and the repeal of Obamacare because it is unsustainable and also places an unnecessary burden on families and businesses. Do you know Ed Markey's committee was one of 3 responsible for writing Obamacare? Now, we have over 1,000 big corporations and big labor filing waivers because Obamacare just doesn't work for them. We have a prime example of that in Natick, Massachusetts, with Boston Scientific. They're going to lay off over 1,200 Americans, increase the Chinese economy by over $150 million, and increase the Chinese labor force by over 1,200 new Chinese jobs. And here's a side note. Anybody here going to sell their property in 2012?
No.
Be prepared, because you're going to pay a 3.8 sales tax on your real estate transaction. Is this acceptable?
No way.
I propose if we're going to have health care reform, we start with tort reform, being able to purchase health care across state lines, and providing health care for those individuals regardless of what their pre-existing condition is. Last year, I called for the cut, cap, and balance to our federal budget because spending is still out of control. Now, We have the super committee that's going to raise our taxes. We have a debt deal that is going to add $10 trillion to our debt and no debt solution. Is that acceptable to you?
No.
It's not acceptable to me either. I believe you and I are responsible and smart enough to live within our means. Our federal government should be mandated to live within its means by a constitutional amendment to balance our budget. Last year, I stood in this very room as an unknown. 4 months into a campaign, we had a 34-year incumbent going door to door campaigning, and people hadn't seen him in 25 years. After our first debate, his campaign manager came up to me and said, "The next time, we're going to be ready for you." I looked at him and said, "Don't bring a squirt gun to a gunfight." I said, "The next time, I'm bringing a cannon." And after the second debate on BZ Radio, I handed Markey his head on a silver platter. I appeal to you as compassionate Americans who care about the well-being of your families and your neighbors, as hard-working individuals living the essence of the American dream, as mothers and fathers who love your children so much that you want them to have a better life than you have right now. I need your help. I need your support. And I need your financial donations. Last year, after over 75,000 people voted for my campaign, Ed Markey's campaign was out doing damage control from what Dembrowski's campaign did to him last year. And it's all because of you. In order to take on Markey, we've got the prime opportunity to take out a 36-year incumbent. But it's going to require all of us to pull together. We did it last year, and we had an unbelievable poll showing for 4 months of campaigning. Thank you very much, and have a fantastic weekend.